Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And why can't we be friends?
Well, I don't want to be just your friend.
Well, guys can be friends with each other.
Right, and girls can be friends with each other.
And guys and girls can be friends with each other.
They can, but Twitter doesn't think so.
Twitter doesn't think so. Twitter thinks that if you're fond of someone, you want to fondle somebody. Mm-hmm. That's how that works. Yeah, Anthony Mackie, who plays Falcon or Captain America or Falcap or whatever they're calling him now, is actually pushing back against the shippers. That's interesting. He says he seems pretty unhappy with people who want Sam and Bucky to be gay. Because he's probably like, we're not gay, we're just bros.
That's pretty much what it was. His quote's down below, but we'll get to it in a bit.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about this because we've been talking about the problem with shipping, and of course, we got other news outlets that are like, hey, don't take my ship.
Yes, because Variety had done an article that had said, we covered this before, that had said, no, that's not, he's not bi, that's not what it had meant according to the director and all that. And then we got the Mary Sue article, was like, you don't refute my character sexuality. Don't you tell me my ship's wrong.
Oh, your ship has sailed. It's over. It's over. So we're going to talk about that. Before we get into it, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. I think we're over 200,000.
Woohoo!
So we got to come up with something special. We're thinking about it. But unless YouTube audits us, because they do that sometimes, I think we're over 200,000. So thank you for the support, guys. All right, this is coming from the AV Club here.
Well, it was actually originally from someplace else, and they just wrote an article on it.
Everybody's writing about it. Sci-Fi Wire is writing about it, and I think there's a little bit of salt to be had. Mackie says that the idea of two guys being friends and loving each other in 2021 is a problem because of the exploitation of homosexuality.
Yep, kind of what we've been saying.
Yeah, so Anthony Mackie has committed the time-honored mistake of saying something when nothing might have easily sufficed.
Basically, he said what we don't want to hear. That's what it is. We like him until, they're not going to cancel him because, he's not a white guy.
They'll eventually cast a wider net. That's how this is going to work.
But they're like, he should just not say anything because we don't want to hear it. Not wanting to hear it doesn't make it untrue.
Just to let us have our ships. What's wrong? We're just drawing you naked with Bucky. What's wrong with that?
And then they go on about, it's a complicated and nuanced topic. No, it's not. It's really not that nuanced. Not particularly, no. But here's what he said. It's in the quote down below. This is what's setting them all off.
Okay, this is what Anthony Mackie said. He said, in this day and age, so many things are twisted and convoluted. There's so many things that people latch onto with their own devices to make themselves relevant and rational.
You mean like projection?
Yeah, the idea of two guys being friends and loving each other in 2021 is a problem because of the exploitation of homosexuality. Used to be guys could be friends. We can hang out. It was cool. You tell him, Anthony. You tell him. You would always meet your friends at the bar, You can't do that anymore because something as pure and beautiful as homosexuality has been exploited by people. Oh, he's turning this around on them. Has been exploited by people who are trying to rationalize themselves. So something that's always been very important to me is showing a sensitive masculine figure. There's nothing more masculine than being a superhero and flying around and beating people up. But there's nothing more sensitive than having emotional conversations and a kindred spirit friendship with someone that you care about and love. Sam and Steve had a relationship where they're appreciated, admired, and loved each other. Bucky and Sam have a relationship where they learn how to accept, appreciate, and love each other. You'd call it a bromance, but it's literally just two guys who have each other's backs.
It's what we used to call friendship back in the day.
Yeah, right.
And he's not allowed to say that. How very dare he? How very, very dare he?
The oddest part about the statement, obviously, is the first few lines. It's not clear what Mackie means by the exploitation.
Basically, what he's trying to say is while you're shipping everybody that's not straight, you're exploiting the idea of homosexuality, which is kind of insulting to those that are homosexual, is what I think he's trying to say.
Yeah. Or that people latch on with their own device.
That's called projection.
That is called projection. Basically, you're putting things that aren't there. We'll translate this. You're injecting things into fictional characters, okay? Ideas and sexuality and all that into characters, things that are not there to validate yourself, but you're also doing a disservice to people.
Right. And I mean,
by
it's not
doing
even
that.
fictional characters. We ran into, well, not us personally, but there's been a lot of YouTubers that they've shipped together, and it's caused friendships to be,
Oh, yeah.
fractured and different issues because these people will not just stop going around shipping. And, shipping isn't always bad. You can ship characters in your head, and you can be like, oh, I ship them, and different things. And everybody's done it for years. I mean, that's not the problem. The problem when it's has become is this toxic shipping where you're demanding it be your way because you decided. And if it's not, it's because somebody else is a problematic person because you didn't get your own way, and then you make threats and all that crap.
Generally, when conversations about pop culture exploitation of LGBTQ plus relationships crop up in a critical sphere, they're referring to the practice of queer baiting, i.e. when shows themselves introduce intentional sexual subtext between straight characters in order to draw attention from audiences hoping to see increased representation.
But that's not what happened.
No.
Because if you recall, I have the article here where the person that was, I don't know if it was a guy or girl, flat out said that, that wasn't the intent here. Okay, it's a she. And she said, it's really love, right? They love each other at the end. They don't love each other at the beginning. They become a friendship place. They love each other. So she flat out said that, no, it is not that. It is their friends. Yeah. So there's no queer baiting here.
Yeah, this is one of the directors on the show basically said, this isn't queer baiting at all. Now, if the show set it up that maybe Bucky accidentally landed on top of Falcon.
He did.
And kind of enjoyed it, then but we can't do that because we're soldiers, then.
Yeah, so they're talking about that one scene. That's what they're going on by is the one scene in the thing. I mean, if you go looking for things, you can find something pretty much in everything.
I think what's going on here is Anthony Mackie is finding it hard to verbalize that he does not appreciate being shipped. His character's not supposed to be shipped. His character's not explicitly gay.
Well, the character's not. I mean, him and Sebastian Stan, I guess, have both done, scenes before that, could cross those lines. But in these characters specifically, they're not. And he's just like, why can't people just be friends? It's just kind of what we and other people have been saying for a while now. Why can't we just leave characters as friends? Why can't two guys be friends? Why can't two girls be friends? Hell, it seems being, a guy and a girl as friends seems to be okay. But, you never can be friends with your friends that are the same gender as you, because if you are, then obviously you want to screw each other.
Yeah, and that is, again, that shipping culture. And look, I'm not saying all shipping is bad.
No,
I'm not saying it's all bad. But the toxic shipping culture where people are literally, getting threats. There's some artwork out there that's pretty freaky. I mean, he probably Googled himself. Never Google yourself when you're a celebrity. And he's probably like, oh my God, Sebastian Stan's little Stan is where?
Well, this isn't the first time he said things that pissed people off. He also made comments that he didn't have a lot of backlash for being the new Captain America.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And they had a fit about that. Because he had said some things. He's like, as soon as you take the shield from the white dude, there's a lot of people that are going to be like, oh, you're getting the shield because you're the black man. You got the shield now because why the black man got to have the shield? You get what I'm saying? It's been interesting, and I expected to have those conversations. I expect that to be the internet buzz, but I haven't received or seen that at all. Like, it's easy for us to look at the news and look at what's going on and say all people are bad in the world, it's going to shit. But the reality of it is most people are good people,
Well, here's the difference, though. The big difference with how they handled this, and it was kind of in the comics too, is that Sam absolutely paid his dues. I mean, he's been in the comics for ages. Mm-hmm. He's been in the MCU for a long time too. So it wasn't like they just had, Riri Williams or somebody just show up and say, "Here you go."
Right.
You get to be the next incarnation of whoever at this point.
So, I mean, he's just going around pissing everybody off. Oh, he's also a big Boba Fett fan. So I already liked him for that reason. But he's just going around. Now they're losing their shit because they go on representation. They get representation. But he's not kowtowing to what they want, and they don't know what to do. They're just like, well, I want to throw shade at him, but I can't throw shade at him because if I throw shade at him, then I'm going to be in trouble because he's a minority, and it's hilarious. But he's just basically saying what most everyone else, white, male, straight, or otherwise, have been saying for quite a while outside the media and Twitter.
Yeah, and it's kind of frying their circuits because I think they were expecting to get, Anthony Mackie like, finally, a black man's Captain America, and he's going to toe the line. The Twitter.
No, he's going to tell everybody that, you can shut up because,
we might be gay and you're just going to have to like it, man, babies.
Yeah,
it's about time a black man wore this shield.
Yeah, I know, right? And it's just, and he's, and he said he expected more backlash than he got. I think they don't know what to do because they're like, they want this narrative. They want this conflict. They want it so bad so they can make clicks and headlines.
Well, I mean, this is what we talked about with He-Man. The casting, they did the race swapping of Andra, who was like a nothing burger character.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of more insulting that way, I think. But,
yeah, like we could have just created a character completely from scratch and it would have been, but then people would complain that
that's true.
There wasn't as much backlash about that as I think they'd hoped for. And the Velma cartoon, they're like, guys, man babies, we're going to make Velma Asian.
And white people are so mad.
And literally nobody's mad. They're like, hey, yeah, Velma was Asian like 12 years ago.
No one cared.
And nobody cared.
I mean, if anybody did care, complain, even though with the He-Man thing, it's a very small amount of people. But that doesn't matter because a lot of times these media outlets will take like, oh, I saw one person say something shitty, so now everybody who doesn't agree with it is because they say the same thing because they're terrible people. Because if you were the right kind of person, you'd agree with my opinion. And it's just stupid.
I have often wondered, and I'm sure it probably is the case, we've run across people like this too. I've wondered if there are people that are actually on, I guess, Twitter's side, pretending to be caricatures of who they think the enemy is, to say shitty things so the media can latch onto it and be like...
Well, I think that's what happens.
Kind of false flagging.
I know that has happened in comments on our videos and stuff. When you go back and backtrack, you find out that's what's going on.
Yeah, it's like you're a cartoon. Like nobody would actually say this, but this is what you think somebody would say if you were doing a caricature.
Right, so
them,
then they can run with it and be like, ah.
Look at the comments on Clownfish TV's videos. Why do they let these comments on? I'm like, here, newsflash, guys. And this isn't the brag, but we get thousands of comments on our videos. We do not read them all. We can't read them all, or we would not be making videos. We'd be spending all day reading comments.
Right.
Just like we don't spend all day on Twitter because we're trying to do other stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I don't want to get my hopes up, but it kind of feels like the pop culture media is sort of losing its grip on the narrative.
Well, I think what they need to do is more like what Anthony Mackie's doing and just not play into it. And if these celebrities would stop playing into it, it would take some of the wind out of their sails. But a lot of times they like play into it to, gain, upvotes and likes and all that kind of crap. And it's kind of refreshing to see somebody be like, well, hey, I'm going to call you out. So
yeah, I mean, he would get a lot more upvotes, a lot more clout if he would be like, yes, you know what? I'm just so glad I'm gonna shove this shield up the white man's ass.
Right, and I'm gonna why French him while doing it. And the thing is, I said, he was saying, and these particular characters is not the case, and he was very excited about portraying these characters the way they did because you don't see male friendships portrayed like, in a way that sometimes they legitimately are. Instead, they're too busy trying to pander with shipping. And sometimes, the characters are like that, and that's a completely different scenario. But in this case, it's not. So it's refreshing to see somebody like, not take their shit.
Yeah, and I think more celebrities, more publishers, more studios need to realize that a lot of times these media outlets are not your friends. They're going to run with whatever you say, so you got to be very careful what you say. Like, even if he's, like, trying to get around it, they're like, well, he should have said this or shouldn't have just kept his damn mouth shut. And if he kept his mouth shut, there'd be a headline, Anthony Mackie won't answer the question about the relationship between...
Right.
Bucky and Sam. Oh, my God.
And he's just basically stop pandering and stop, taking this stuff and changing it just to, to make it this way when you're actually just kind of doing a disservice to people who actually are homosexual. And I don't think what he said was wrong. So anyway.
We're going to wrap this up.
Yep.
Okay, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.